we're gonna react to the freak strength of Myles Garrett, and we're gonna start right now. Now, if anybody's paying attention to the NFL this year, you've probably seen the absolute crazy strength and performance of Myles Garrett. And I believe, what is he, 27 years old? I think he's putting on an absolute clinic at the DN position. And in the next, between this year and I believe probably the next 3 to 4 years, he's gonna go down as quite possibly the greatest of all time. You know, I know Michael Parsons is gonna come up and have something to say about that. I know that there's other great ones, Michael Strahan. And the season he's having right now actually sort of reminds me of the year when Strahan had, what, 19 or 20 sacks, whatever it was. I can't even remember what that number was, but he is an absolute phenom. And so I wanted to look at some of these specific exercises that he uses in training and some of the movement patterns that he does as a big dude. And one thing I wanted to even point out, and this is something I've sort of changed my tune on, is that previously I would see flat-footed individuals and I'd think, oh man, they've got poor ankle mobility, they might not be as athletic. And then I started to see some of my best athletes. Nick Singleton has flat feet. Tamon Johnson's got flat feet. Actually, Lucas Mourning is a great shot putter, glider, flat feet. Brian Williams, flat feet. I don't coach him, but I know who he is, and a lot of distance runners have flat feet that are phenoms, and Myles Garrett has flat feet. And when I was talking with a therapist, a physical therapist, he said, people who have flat feet actually have more ground contact. Okay, so they have more ground contact, so they're getting better feedback. And if they have decent mobility in their ankles and they stay up to pace with that ankle mobility, they should be fine in their knees. And we just have to be aware that there's going to be some areas of struggle potentially that we just have to make sure that we alleviate. So I wanted to bring that up. Let's watch Texas A&M grad Myles Garrett here just do total freakish stuff here. He's got great size. I think he's 6'4". He's got like a 10-8 broad jump from the combine, probably even further.
Professionally.
Boom.
It's gonna be like on the court with us tonight, right?
Yeah. I'll be in the layup lines with those guys. It's a very special moment.
Yo, that's crazy.
Fortunately enough, I was invited to do it again. The crossover relationship that we have is huge to me. I hope to see that relationship.
I think that's the other big factor too, is that if you're looking at him being such a big time basketball player, I think the sports that transfer over really, really well. I think obviously a sport like wrestling is going to transfer over well because of the hand fighting. And if you see, what is he doing? He's doing a single leg front squat. A single leg front squat. Let's just point out who has talked about single leg front squats being absolutely incredible for athletic development. So let's just go back and check this out again. But basketball, I wanted to bring up, basketball is also phenomenal for the transfer to football. I think probably better, obviously, than wrestling. I think wrestling's fantastic. I think even shot put, I would say the O-line play, think about someone like Joe Thomas, great shot putter, and actually used to play with Myles Garrett.
To really get
So
that
you
heart
got
rate up and
225.
get that aerobic capacity to where we need and before he heads out to camp.
All the way.
Using that bench, we got to get him one of those single leg rollers from GarageStrength.com.
See that?
You know, I think that he's seen in just the
Look at
short
that.
time that we've worked with him, he's seen
16 sacks,
ROI
16
for him.
sacks,
He's seen the
TFLs.
improvements.
Go right into it. I want you a little bit tired. Let's keep moving.
Dude's an animal. He's doing bent over row here. Also, dude, he reminds me of freaking Sam with how freaking jacked he is. Holy crap.
He's looking good. He's looking fresh, even when he should be tired.
I think right now my body's probably feeling the best it's felt in my 27 years. I feel ready to go.
That's
I
pretty
feel
scary.
honest in mid-season form.
265.
You know,
This is considered a light meal. He doesn't really eat late at night, and he also goes very light on protein at night. So
So he goes light on protein at night, but looks like he's eating almost a whole bird here post-workout.
Keep him still on schedule, and his food will still be in a timely fashion for him.
Dude eats really
start
well. Holy
our-
crap, dude.
Our day on recovery, start getting on the treatment table a little bit later.
I want to work on his toes with his foot motion. We'll be working on tissue around his knee. In my experience, working on the front of the body is actually where a lot of the issues come from. So we're basically going to start moving tissue around.
We decrease inflammation and we realign his system to make sure that it's ready to go, then fine tune his movement. And then Brian takes him from there, puts a massive amount of muscle on him, and then he goes to the Cleveland Browns preseason camp and goes crushes everybody.
This is called a trap peel. We're just peeling his traps back, putting them back. to where they're supposed to be.
I really rely on Ben and John from a body tissue standpoint, from a massage standpoint, to just...
As a therapist, usually I would expect him to be stiff, but he's actually so limber and able to generate so much
Feet,
force.
that flat foot, but look what he's doing there. So he's got crazy mobility. If you listen to this dude, he's saying he's got fantastic mobility, large amount of muscle mass, extremely strong, extremely explosive. And that's the thing too, coming off the edge, he's got to change that level. He's got to be able to have that steep shin angle. He's got to be hypertrophic so he can apply a large amount of force into his opponents. You got to think too who he's playing against. He's playing against big dudes with a lot of weight and a lot of strength as well.
The slight subtleties in my movement.
Dude, think about it, he's 6'4", like 275, so it's like building that muscle mass and maintaining, that's a big thing. Is like when you're training full range of motion and when you're doing things like that front loaded single leg squat, dude, that transfers so well to mobility. It transfers phenomenally to mobility. His nutrition's on point, his mobility's on point, his recovery's on point clearly. He prioritizes his body.
I've been reading into making sure I get my body temperature down during the night. I definitely slept better when I was at home. That's always an advantage.
How do you create what you have at home when you go to a hotel?
I started bringing a pillow of my own. Stuff like that, middle of the night, it starts getting to you mentally, and you're like, man, I'm not getting the rest I need. Am I gonna be good in the morning? I'm making sure that you wake up ready and alert in the morning.
Easy,
I think
easy cue.
The biggest driver of your mental, physical, and emotional wellness.
Everything that they do from a daily basis is impacted by sleep, and he gets that. He shares his sleep data with me. I now have it on my phone so I can see how he's sleeping before we train.
Now, I know that you're very concerned about your health. I know you have a whole team of people supporting you.
I think that is going to be a big thing too that we see even further is with how great technology is. You're going to see that transfer over where it's like, okay, this is my sleep score. This is where we can increase our intensity or slowly decrease our intensity. You know, these guys at the top that have, one, the finances to do this stuff, but also easy access to that technology. That's how training is going to develop over a long period of time. All right, so let's look at some of these positions here that he's hitting. A little bit of a hip lock there, hip lock and hold. I think too, it's like, you know, seeing videos of Garrett being able to back squat 600 plus pounds, seeing videos of him, the floor bench, you know, and then look at getting double teamed there, being able to drop the knee. Dude's an absolute animal. All right, so some of his crazy lifts, and we talk about these benchmarks. Look, that's what, 465 it looks like. That's a close grip single. Oh no, that's 425, close grip double. Alternating dumbbell incline bench, so that's the other thing here is look at that shoulder stability. Big power output, and it's one of those things where it's like sometimes we think like, oh, we have to do all functional, we have to do all plyometric movements, or we have to do powerlifting, or we have to do weightlifting. It's like, dude, you can encompass everything. You can piece together your own training and really build a large amount of strength, build those cleans. 635 for a triple, barefoot. I don't know if you have to go barefoot, but look at that low bar, but he still has an upright trunk. Boom, out of the bottom position. One more big one, 635 for a triple. So you can see if you want to be freaking strong, or if you want to be one of the absolute best in the game, you have to be absurdly strong. You have to be training that absolute strength for the back squat from the bench. You saw the 425 double close grip and he's 6'4". Then you see that 635 for a triple. But then you also factor in, he's doing his mobility work. He's eating really clean. He's making sure that his sleep is on point. He's taking care of all of the little stuff. So he's executing that 4-for-4 base training. He's also moving through and making sure he's mastering those details. What's interesting here is those are crazy numbers that now kids on the come up, right? You can look at that and say, all right, well, I've got to get over a 550 back squat if I want to be one of the best. I've got to make sure I'm sleeping 8 to 10 hours every single night. I need to make sure maybe I eat a lot more protein in the morning and at lunch, and then back off my protein at night, similar to what Garrett's doing. And that's just stuff that we've got to remember, we've got to factor in. And when we're building out that system, when we establish that vision and you test your athletes, and then you take that athlete test and then you apply that into program solving, that's how you build freaks. That's how you cultivate your power. If you guys need help with your training, head over to peakstrength.app, because remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.